Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Welcome back to Combat Sports UK. My next guest today is UFC heavyweight Jared Vanderaa. Jared, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Got home maybe an hour ago from training and about to do my second half of the day, so things are going all right.
And like we say, we're just a couple of weeks away from your next fight now. How are you feeling heading into this one?
Tired. Really tired. I switched up my camp, switched up training camps, and honestly, I'm hoping it shows in this camp. It's actually my first camp that I've had since last year, like a full camp. So I'm excited to be able to show what I've learned at Kings, and yeah.
So as I said, you're going to be taking on the undefeated Waldo Cortes-Acosta. What do you make of him? Have you had a chance to look at any clips of him?
Like a couple weeks ago,
And
I watched some of his stuff. I think he's a phenomenal boxer. I think he has the power to put almost everyone's lights out. So I'm definitely going in there with he has the ability to put anyone to sleep. I also think his wrestling defense might be highly underrated. I've watched him go against net wrestlers. I think he does very well. So if I want to take it to the ground, it's not going to be an easy task. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not. I don't think so. I actually do think he has really good wrestling defense. Now, I think once he's on the ground, though, he's good at exploding up. But if I could get him into a jiu-jitsu battle, I think that's where I would have a better chance of beating him.
For sure. And obviously, like I said, he's an undefeated fighter as well. Does the prospect of handing a guy his first loss excite you more, or?
I honestly, I don't think about handing, like, I just want to go out there, fight, and have fun. I genuinely don't care if he was 101 or if he was 50-50. I just kind of want to go out there and fight.
And obviously, yeah, I was gonna say. So is the fact, like, when you go in there, you're always looking to make it exciting, have fun yourself, and obviously you're coming off the back of a difficult run now. So how important is a win for you on October 29th?
The win itself is vastly important. It's highly, highly important. So I've definitely put in everything I can to, achieve this win. Like right now, I'm on weight. If I had to weigh in tomorrow morning, I might be like 266.5. I might have to cut half a pound or something like that. But nothing where I would be like, oh shit, like I'm not going to have to work for a weight cut. And in 2 weeks, I'll easily be like 262, 263. I'll be fine.
And you've already mentioned you're fighting out Kings MMA for this one. Obviously, you're still wearing the Team Quest t-shirt, I can see there. But Kings is a team that we don't know much about. So can you firstly tell me a little bit about the team?
I don't know how you don't know a lot about Kings. Kings is actually a very, very big gym. Vittori, Nazrat, Giga, these are some of the names that actually come from that gym. Rafael Cortez, Rafael Cordano was the coach of the year when I think was the same year Verdum won the title against Cain Velasquez. So they definitely, have a high quality. They set a high standard. Yeah, I'm still wearing the Team Quest, but that's because I actually own a Team Quest that I'm going to work to next. So, I still have to rock the business side of things. But yeah, no, Kings though, very good gym. They push high standards. Kind of got to see Vittori. Oh my God, Marvin Vittori in action, more or less, kind of just a guy just off season relaxing. But I was able to just kind of see how he worked, and dude's always working hard. Really respects his work ethic. And that's just kind of the standard that Kings has there. Like all of these guys, sometimes in the game itself, like, you have fighters that could go in, dismantle a fighter, but then, in the gym they're not as good, or they're just kind of like, oh, on half-ass training. But some of these guys that I train with, they might not be able to show up on fight day, but they are fucking monsters every other day, like high level one way or another. And you're just like, how do you not lose? And come to find out, it's more of either a mental thing or some crazy shit happened like fight week, or just sometimes crazy weight cuts. And, you don't get best performance out of yourself when you do stuff like that.
And with some of the names you just mentioned there, I'm curious, who have you been training with for this fight? Who have you been sparring with?
Out of all those guys, none of them. Just because, like, I've talked to Giga and we've gone over techniques and stuff like that. Vittori showed me some things. My main person I've been working with is Danilo Marquez. He's a 6'4" heavyweight, good boxer, great jiu-jitsu. I think he's a second degree or first degree Damian Maya black belt or something like that. Like he's no joke. Been working with him a lot. But I try to work with a lot of other guys that they're like, hey, train with him. Boom, all right, I'm training with them. So I pop in whoever they tell me to go with. I've worked with Benil Dariush, who's fighting next weekend. He's definitely put in a lot of work for me with me. He's definitely shown me a lot. So I'm definitely rooting for him next week and whatnot. So.
And this is going to be your fourth fight of 2022, which is quite crazy for a heavyweight in the UFC. What is the what's the reason behind your motivation and your need to want to stay active?
I don't understand not being active. I like I get the getting better part, and I wish I had some camps in those, but I don't like sitting on the sidelines. Like I get very stir crazy and I like having goals. But like I don't like having, like I like I like having short nose fights. I'm not in my head a lot. I could get out of it, and I feel like mentally I do better. Downside is you don't get maybe the proper training. I'm cutting weight. Like there's downsides both ways. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't like sitting on the sidelines waiting. I train, but I like to train consistent. Like it gives me a reason to train consistently and stuff like that. That I don't know. I've never been the one to sit on the sidelines.
And the UFC. Sorry, go on.
Outside, I was gonna say outside of injuries, I don't see myself not in the gym.
I was going to say, the UFC have shown their history. They love having fighters who love to fight regularly, like if they're having any dropouts or something. So having a guy like you who's always willing to take a fight, they probably love that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm in the spot I'm in. I'm on 4-fight losing streak, but I have verbally accepted over 7 short notice fights. My original fight with Orlowski was literally a day notice. They asked me like January 14th. They're like, hey, you want to fight Orlowski? Like, you have to weigh in tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, I can weigh in tomorrow. And then my manager was like, don't worry, fam. I got you. And then he got me like a month. He goes, you got a month to train. So I was able to get, somewhat of a camp for Orlowski. But it's just like, okay, like, thank you. They're like, thank you for stepping up, agreeing to fight him on a day notice. And you know what? We gave you this. It's like, oh, you fought Olenek on a fucking week notice? Yeah, like, I got so much shit for fighting Olenek. Like, oh, why didn't you? I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, the dude's good. He's strong. And yeah, I tried to grapple with him. Not intentionally. Dude pulled me down. And I was like, fuck. And I had to like scramble out of there. By the time that I wanted out there, he was already locked in. And I tried practicing the escape with my coach. The first thing my coach said, like, why didn't you get out of it? We practiced it 100 times. I'm like, you're not as strong as him. And my coach is fucking massive, like chiseled. And I'm like, I don't care about these muscles. That old man right there is stronger than you. And the video of Olenek and me going viral of him showing me the Ezekiel, he does it to my coach. And then my coach, and after he got done recording, my coach goes, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna shut the fuck up right now. I see where, like, he goes, I see what you meant. He goes, the dude, because the guy's grip strength is phenomenal. Now again, Chase had a short notice fight. I guess it was going well, and then he caught me like right behind the ear and dropped me. Now, there was a pre-injury that was happening that I kind of brushed off because I genuinely thought it was nerves. And so I was like, all right, we're going to go in there. And after this fight, I'm like, but during the fight, I was like, oh shit, I can't do A, B, and C. Okay. And it was a lot longer of a night than originally planned. And it turned out it didn't go my way. But again, Chase was on a 2-week notice. Olenek was on a week notice. Orlowski technically was a day notice. And I got offered Chris Barnett. We both agreed. I was literally about to sign the contract when he got hurt. And then before, like, I've had a lot of short fight offers, and I've accepted every single one of them. So I think that's where it's held me where I am today. They offered me the Cortez thing. I wasn't pushing for the fights. I wasn't asking for anything. I was just like, yo, I want to get in there. And Mick, from what I've gathered from my managers and stuff like that, Mick likes the fact that I've accepted every fight. Doesn't like the fact that I've lost. But because the fact that I've accepted that he's willing to extend me my full contract, if I win, cool, we'll go from there. If I lose, it's easy for him to be like, hey, I gave him opportunities, I gave him camp, I could cut him. And I think Mick's being very fair with me. And so I'm trying to do myself a favor and just win this fight and, win several more after this. But, let's focus on day one. And because, he's given me this opportunity to fight out my contract and, we'll go from there. I'm trying to use this whole time to actually. And hey, you know what? If I fight and I win, who knows? I might fight a 5th fucking time this year. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but my main goal right now is just to go in, beat Waldo, and then see what happens from there.
Maybe a fight with Chris Barnett at the end of the year. Get that fight signed at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, like okay, I'm a fan of Chris, so I'm not like, but me and him would totally like beat each other up. It would be a fun fight, fun time for everybody. Yeah, no, me and Chris would be cool, and it would definitely be a fun fight for everybody.
And with the fights you've already had this year, 2 of them have actually been in front of the packed out arenas on, pay-per-views and stuff. Does it disappoint you a little bit that you're going to be back at the Apex this time, or does it not really phase you?
I don't know. Like, I like the crowds. I really do. But I also like I kind of like the smaller venue. It's kind of nice. It's just simple. It's like you go in there, do your job, and leave. Like, it's a well-run machine. Very, 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 like, the professionalism behind the scenes is just phenomenal. And that's one thing I love about the Apex. You go in there, you're in and out. They take care of you. You do all your, like, if you're fighting and you lose, you're in and out. If you need to go to the hospital, they'll take you. And there's really no hiccups. It's just if you win, photos, again, no hiccups. It's just a well-run machine. And that's one thing that I do like about the Apex. So pros and cons about both. But that's why I'm not like, oh my god, I'm not. Plus, I mean, we're still at the tail end of the pandemic. Like I think most of the world's kind of gone back to normal. Like we're already seeing Australia like officially open next year, so we're what like the UFC's jumping in on like February and March to have their first event in like 3 years there. So I'm not too worried about it. So that's fun. The only thing that would be weird is what happened last card with like Facebook and Metaverse and all that weird shit. That would kind of throw me off.
Yeah, that was a weird. But with the UFC traveling, like going to Australia next year and stuff, I'm just curious. We'll have to ask this over here. What would be a dream location for you to fight anywhere in the world? What would be the best place for you
This
to fight?
one's easy.
Go on.
Japan.
Japan. Why is that?
Because I'm a massive fucking nerd. Like we all know that Izzy likes anime, right? But like when like I talk to a lot of people, like again in the UFC in the background, all the people that work in the background and make everything run in the UFC, they're actually shocked about how much anime I know. I'm just like, oh, this and this, and they're like, you are a fucking nerd. I'm like, yeah. Now, like, I don't necessarily get into the more like, oh, I have to call this person. Like, I just say nerd because growing up, that's what I was called, a nerd. Like, people around me didn't say otaku or weeb or some stuff like that. I was just a dude that liked anime. I read manga, and I played countless of hours of anime, base video games and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I'm just a fucking nerd, kind of just straight across the board.
So what I'm hearing is, do you think you could beat Izzy in a
oh fuck
yeah.
Yeah. I win 100%. I mean, I think he beats me in Naruto because I think that's his shit. But I think overall anime aspects, I do win.
Well, that'd be a good little that'd be a good little UFC YouTube video. A nerd off, as you say, like that would be an interesting video.
So was it the Florida card? It was Izzy versus Whitaker too. Yeah. I didn't see Izzy during the week. I only saw him during weigh-ins, and out of respect to the smaller weights, I don't really kind of fucking talk to them or like fuck with them, just because they're most likely cutting massive amounts of weight. So I'm just gonna be like, yo, if I see you throughout the day, boom. I ran into Roxanne during the signing the posters. Me and her talked a little bit about that. She was awesome about it. She was a great sport. And I'm like, Roxanne, if I win, I'm calling you out. And she looked at me like, we're not in the same weight class or same gender. I'm like, hear me out. I'm a bigger nerd than you. And then, she laughed and we joked about it a little bit. But yeah, I was gonna call out Izzy and the same call out.
Well, that's a good call. If you get the win, October 29th, there's your call out.
Oh, was it? There was I think it was last year where Sean Strickland fought a week before me, and then I was gonna fight. If I won that fight, my main goal was to have everyone send Sean Strickland hentai pictures and photos, just because I know it pissed him the fuck off. That was it. Like me and Strickland are friends, and he fucking hates the fact that I'm a nerd. I know it 100%. Fucking hates it, but it's hilarious. That I was like, if I won, that was my main goal, is just have everyone just flood his DMs with fucking hentai, futa, yaoi, like just make his day miserable.
I can already see his reaction on social media just from you saying that.
Oh yeah. I could too. That would have been worth it 100%.
And I'd love to know, with the heavyweight division being as exciting as it is at the moment, I'd love to just know, obviously, you mentioned maybe Chris Barnett is just a name that you've already said, but what would be anyone on the roster at all? Who would be a dream opponent for you?
So my Conor had that one. At this point, it was Orlowski. That was just one of those ones where I'm like, I can't believe it. Like there's days where I'm like, I can't believe I fought Orlowski. And it's cool that I think he fights on the same card as I do, so it'd be cool to kind of run into him again. If I would say Overeem, but obviously he's in glory doing his thing. Oh God, I can't I'm sad that Badahara retired. I was like, that was a sad one.
So a fight with like a former legend, or a legend, someone like that.
It'd definitely be Reem. Would be my next. If it wasn't Reem, it would, I think, be Crow Cop.
That would be a good fight.
Yeah. Definitely a big fan of Crow Cop too. I mean, right leg hospital, left leg cemetery. That fucking line sticks with me.
And my final question for you, Jared: in 5 years' time, where do you see yourself?
I would like to either be in title contention, knocking close to that door. I think honestly, with the changes I've made, I could see myself getting there a lot sooner than later. So it's either at the door, got the belt. I know those are big ass fucking statements, but I'm okay with that. At this point, it's go big or go home kind of thing, and kind of where I'm at.
Well, either way, I love that. Jared, thank you so much for speaking to me. Jared's back in action October 29th, ready to shut up all the doubters, put on a big performance. I can't wait to see it. Jared, it's been an absolute honor to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.